Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. So in most of these videos that I do here, I'm really just ragging on people's expenses. It's a bit upbeat, it's kind of lively, a bit sarcastic, but this video, for some reason, really just hits different. It's not a video that I really want to, make light of or anything like that. It's something I want to seriously comment on, which is something that on this channel, I really don't do to this extent. I came across this video. It's about the downfall of one of the OG YouTubers, Boogie. And he's been on the platform for a very long time. Probably longer than some of the people watching this video have even been alive. And he's made quite a lot of money as a result. Unfortunately, he's one of those cases where made a ton of money, lost a ton of money, went through a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it is outlined in this documentary here, so I'll link to it down below in the description, but I wanted to comment on it because I didn't realize just how finance-oriented this entire documentary is, and it's definitely a cautionary tale of what not to do, and I wanted to share my own thoughts on this and just explore some topics that we've never really discussed here on the channel. So with that said, if you appreciate trying something new here, just hit the like button, comment down below. I'll link to the original documentary as well. And again, this is not meant to be, a funny video. It's a bit more serious. So with that said, thank you so much, and let's get into the video here.
When I'm on my deathbed, the biggest regret I will ever have is knowing that I had a job that every person in the world would kill for, and I f***ed it up. I'm gonna be mad about that till I go to the grave.
This documentary, by the way, I only saw the first 15 minutes of it before I realized this is really something I want to comment on. The quality of the documentary is insane. There are movies that aren't even as good as this documentary. So I just want to say, from a quality standpoint, the amount of work and time that goes into making something like this, absolutely astonishing. And the fact that it's on YouTube for free, I think we all could appreciate that. And it's brave of Boogie, by the way, to really open up to this extent, because very few people would ever be as vulnerable as he is in this video. So just keep watching.
There was one girl that I dated. She liked a lot of childish things. And one of my favorite memories with her is us sitting in this tub, her playing with rubber ducks as I washed her, and then when we got out, I took her to bed. One of the best nights of my life, Mike. It happened right here.
That is rough, to go from $750,000 to bankruptcy in really just 4 years. I mean, the amount of money that you have to spend to get into that sort of despair is bad. Now, usually when I see people just mass spending a whole bunch of money, it usually signals, just anecdotally from what I've seen, deeper psychological issues. And usually when that's present, the spending is more so as a band-aid for covering up other issues that are really going on. And so, if you ever find yourself, I think, overspending or indulging in things that, you're doing to cover up other stuff, it's worth it to spend some of that money on a therapist. Really dig into the root cause of the issue, work on yourself, because I think a lot of people, it's easy to cover up all the insecurities and feelings of sadness or whatever with spending. Just go to the mall, buy stuff. I mean, you'll get a temporary feeling of relief and, accomplishment, like I bought something, but long term, it's detrimental, like anything you do too much of.
Money comes in, money goes out. For the longest time, my ex-wife handled that shit, and I got divorced. I don't know where my money is. I don't know what it's doing. The only thing I've ever done with it is I threw it into crypto and then lost it.
Yeah, so it seems like, and he's kind of alluded to this in some of his past videos, he took his life savings, dumped it all into some random crypto coin, and lost. To me, when you dump your life savings into a random coin because you heard it was going to go up, that's gambling. It's no different than going to the casino and saying, I heard that roulette is going to be red next, and then putting it all on red, and it's like, oh crap, it's black. I lost. That's what this is like. So again, I think this is an indication that there's something way more severe going on that would cause someone to put their life savings on something like that for more. To me, this is also the start of maybe some gambling tendencies that just did not work out for him.
I think my net worth is zero. Once you pull the equity out of the house, get rid of the house debt, sell off all my collectibles, and pay off all my debts, I think that puts me at $0.
I mean, it sucks that he had 750 grand. He could have paid off his mortgage, owned his house outright. And then all he needs is really just food, property taxes, insurance, health insurance, maybe some entertainment. Like, he could skirt by $3,000 a month with a paid off house just fine, which he could easily continue to do on YouTube. The issue that I see is that his spending was out of control, and reeling that back is going to be a lot of work. And I think, too, you have a bit of pride in that. Of like, hey, here's someone who has millions of subscribers on YouTube, has been around for a very long time. You could go out in public, instantly recognizable, but has no money. It's hard to humble yourself to that degree where you have no money, but you go out there and you're bit like a celebrity. It's tough. It's a mental gymnastic a lot of people are going to have to adjust to in this sort of position.
My meat apron. I have 2 meat curtains. There's a second one. I have 2 glorious meat curtains. I don't like showing it to people, and people don't like seeing it. So that's why I'm going to die alone.
I mean, it's just, it seems like, and again, we're only 4 minutes into this video, very defeatist attitude of things, of things aren't going to get better. I've already fallen this low. It's going to be impossible for me to rebound back from this. I am worthless. I think a lot of this is mental. I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle for him to overcome. I think if he could get his head on straight, and I don't want to say just be more positive, just positive, I get it. But I think if he could solve his mental first, everything else will begin to fall into place. I just think that's a good starting point, not to talk negatively about himself like this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you.
My ankle on my left leg and head.
But that's just the kind of woman I married, so give her some love in the comments section. Give her as much money as I used to make, and it's not exactly enough to make ends meet.
That is a big decline. 280,000 views down to 17,000 views, but that's also, I hate to say it, the nature of the internet is very much like that. If you don't continually adapt and stay at the top of your game, you lose the views. And it's really, really, really difficult for people to stay at for as long as almost 20 years for him. Could you imagine trying to stay at the forefront of the internet and gather people's attention for 20 years? I mean, people have gone from infants to an adult in the time that he's been doing YouTube videos. So to constantly, that's very difficult. Most people can't do that for a year, let alone 5 years, let alone from 2006. My gosh.
Today, let's talk a little bit about why you got to do better than I did, right?
I've told the audience, I've told you guys, I've told everybody, this is the center of my world, right here in this recliner with my dogs.
He would be a great candidate, I think, for Caleb Hammer. If Caleb Hammer could travel to him and just sit down, because this is the problem here, okay? $5,700 in income, $7,800 in expenses. We know his mortgage isn't that much. Let's say $2,000 on that. Leaves him $3,700 a month in spending. Where's that going? There's obviously money leaking somewhere that he's not aware of, and if he gets a budget, I don't think his situation is that disastrous. Stay in the house he lives in, stick on a very strict budget, and you can absolutely skirt by. There's nothing that I've seen so far that can't be saved.
Dude, I spent a lot of money on stuff. You know where a lot of the money went? And it felt really compulsive at the time.
All right, so I just want to warn you, okay? Any parents watching this with children, any children watching this, and you shouldn't be watching, we're getting some PG-13 stuff here, okay? So I'm going to try to keep it as appropriate as I can, but there's only so much that I could not show without leaving out a lot of context for this video. So that's your warning right now. And if you're a little sensitive to that sort of stuff, I recommend to click off and come back for the next video. Otherwise, this part's interesting. $200,000 on that. Again, to me, this is indicative of some other health issues going on. It could be anxiety, depression, self-esteem issues. there could be a lot going on, because the fact is, it's like, listen, I don't care what two consenting adults do. It makes no difference in my life. If they're happy to make 200 grand and he's happy to spend 200 grand and they're both consenting adults willingly do it, I don't care. I'm so open to so many things. If two people are happy, by all means. The problem comes when he can't afford it. He can't afford 200 grand. And that's a serious issue when he's spending money he can't afford to spend compulsively.
I am a former worker Escort, and Boogie2988 was one of my clients.
I took women on vacations, and I took them out to fancy dinners, and I took them to like Disneyland and
$40,000 a year. Again, $40,000 a year. This is 2/3 of the income that he's making today went to that. I'm not saying that is in her. I'm saying that is in the genre of service that he's buying. I'm not calling her that, but it's too much money. Now listen. Back then he maybe he's making more money, but to me 40 grand a year is just like, to me that just seems as though he doesn't feel good about himself, and so he's propping himself up with money for the company of other people, which, you know, unfortunately it's a sad situation to be in, and doing that compulsively is even worse, with money that he just now cannot afford to spend.
I like to hang out with beautiful women. Beautiful women. We all do. I never got to do that. The women I dated were pretty, sure, but they were like Arkansas 8s, not LA 10s. With sugaring, I got to fuck some LA 10s, and I think that's cool.
Again, it seems as though it's so arbitrary to be like an Arkansas 8 versus an LA 10. I would have no idea what that even means. I mean, just like, I get it. Like LA, it seems to be like, oh yeah, there's a lot of pretty people that are concentrated in larger cities. But at the same time, it just seems, at that point, it's just like stroking his ego of like, oh yeah, I got to do this. It's like, oh, I drive a Ferrari and people will see how great I am driving the Ferrari, and you can't afford the Ferrari. But it's kind of like a fake it till you make it sort of approach. And again, it's like two willing people want to do so. I don't care. But to me, there's a lot of underlying issues.
Overall, the experience, and I don't mean to fat shame or anything, but there was rules upon rules upon rules, and it took me a lot of time to find a stick.
Yeah, how are they getting this B-roll though? I'm gonna try to blur out as much as I can here, again, to make it like totally like appropriate for the viewers on this channel, because we don't really get into this, but it must be awkward to get the B-roll. I mean, who are they using in these videos here? Of just like, yeah, can you get on top of him? Is this even him? I haven't seen a face. I think it's him. They could be just using like stunt doubles on this one.
I am now married with 2 kids, and sleeping with Boogie is one of the reasons I quit this work.
Look at that. The income from her night with Boogie helped fund her nursing degree. So again, it's like, you know, you could argue that went to a good cause. You know, she was able to get her nursing degree. She got what she came for. She's married with kids now. Life moves on. No one was hurt in this whole escapade. So be it.
But then it's window shopping, right? Like any other meat market like Tinder, you kind of scroll down the list of photos until you find someone that looks interesting to you.
It's so weird how commoditized the whole thing is now, that you could just like freely go on the internet and be like, yeah, like, you know, I'm window shopping, and be like, all right, I'll get that one. It's like a buy it now price. It's just strange to me that exists. It's like buying a car online, or like you're buying a Tesla and you like pick your options that you want on and be like, yep, that one. It's so weird to me that it's like so open, so free. Because once you're on a site like that, I mean, you're on there. I don't think there's ever any escaping the internet anymore. Like, you can no longer just do stuff like this anonymously. Like, I feel like eventually, if you're ever trying to keep it a secret, eventually it's going to come out.
I deserve to go to New York and explore Times Square with a beautiful girl, right? Like, I deserve that, and I want that, and I've never had it. Man, if I had that money back, that would be half of my mortgage right now.
Yeah, I don't think you deserve anything though. That's the thing. It's not like, oh yeah, I got 2 million subscribers, I deserve that. That I now deserve it. No, I think it just, that's something that you just attract, I think, as a good person, you know? And certainly, I don't doubt him having 4 million subscribers is going to help. That certainly can't hurt. But it's not, it's weird he's feeling that entitled to beautiful people as like a deserving thing. I deserve that. He doesn't deserve it, you know?
I made some money off of YouTube last month, but I did not make enough. Without a sponsor or something like that, I'm not making enough, so we're gonna go to the game shop. But this is gonna keep me from going out on the streets, right? Like, this is gonna keep me in a house.
He's gotta find another way to monetize. I have a hard time believing that it's just YouTube ad revenue, no sponsors, no other way to make money. I think he's really got to put his head down and like find other ways to monetize on his channel besides selling off his collectibles. I mean, I commend him for selling off stuff like that. That's got to be really, really difficult to do. I can't even imagine, especially stuff from your childhood, having to sell that. It's good he's willing to do that, but at the same time, there's got to be other ways.
And I'm going to sell enough to help with mortgage, but I'm also going to sell enough to be able to play Magic tonight, because I don't want people wondering why I'm not there. I don't want people like knowing I'm broke. Like, that's embarrassing. I can't afford $30 to play Magic. So I'm spending $30 to play Magic tonight.
See, here's the thing, okay? I have mixed feelings on this. One, I think spending $30, if it's like a weekly thing, to go have a great time and indulge in a hobby like that makes him really happy, I don't see the issue in that. The $30 when he can't really afford it, when he's pawning stuff off for the $30, that's where it gets borderline. At that point, I would just fess up and say, hey, listen, I'd love to be here. I don't have the $30, going through a really hard time. I'm going to have to sell off my childhood stuff to be able to afford it. Is there any way I get a discount or an IOU for later? Something like that. I bet they'd let him in without the $30.
That's why I go to play Magic. That's why I have my friends over, because for just a few hours, I'm not that up from YouTube. I'm just Steve Williams. I'm just me.
That seems like a very sad thing. He really try to cope and escape as much as he can his own thoughts, which is that he's a up on YouTube. To me, I bet most people would look at him and say, you know what? He had a great time on YouTube. Not getting the viewership that he once had, but you know what? He's a legend on YouTube. He did quite a lot of great things. You know, he used to be bigger, but you know what? That's what happens with the cycle. You used to watch him. Just kind of grew up and found other interests, nothing against him. That's how I bet most people see it. No one is thinking any less of him because he's not getting the same views. That's what I think, at least.
When are we going to start bringing girlfriends around? Also, when are we going to start bringing girlfriends around that aren't hookers? Because that's all I've brought around for 5 years.
You know what? The thing is, I feel bad because you could tell his buddies like him for him. And he feels like he has to compensate and spend money that he doesn't have to impress his friends, because if without the food, they wouldn't be there. But I guarantee without the food, they'd still be there. They want to play Magic and they just want to hang out. He's providing a free place for them to go and hang out for the night. That should be enough. Other people should just bring the food and drinks to him. He's providing the venue. They bring the food and drinks. That's what I think.
Here's everything that's wrong with Boogie. Low testosterone, testicular hypogonadism, sleep apnea, swelling due to blockages of lymphatic flow, seborrheic eczema, chronic back pain, protein in urine.
That is everything keeping me alive.
See, I'm wondering how much of this is due to his weight. That if he was able to cut down on the weight, how much of this would go away? Or lessen to a significant degree, like back pain. That surely must go away, at least marginally, if he were to lose more weight. Same thing maybe with low testosterone. If he's working out, that should lead to a boost in testosterone. There's a lot here that I just see is just unhealthy diet, a lot of weight, not properly taking care of himself. I think, and again, I'm not a doctor, but maybe that can help a lot of things.
YouTube, on the side as a hobby.
My name is Dawn.
Dawn, I'm Boogie, or Steve.
Wow, this is insane. It sets someone up who was not aware of his content. Now, it's interesting, what, she thinks she's being filmed for. That would be interesting to hear what they told her. Like, oh, we're just doing a documentary and this guy job hopping or something like that. I don't know. But this is interesting.
You are here today because you are seeking employment.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, he looks good. I have to say, it looks like he shaved, got a haircut, dressed well. He looks great. I think walking in here, you would think that, he's a valuable employee.
When you Google my name, you might see rumors that I beat my ex-wife and I'm also a pedophile. Should mention I'm also a felon.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. I saw a clip like this before, and I honestly thought this was fake. I thought this was a bit or a skit or something like that, where it was like, part of an overall sketch. I had no idea that was real. I have a feeling, you know, maybe she's asking like, hey, what are your weaknesses? Why haven't you found a job yet? And he goes into this. I have a hard time believing he just voluntarily said all of this stuff, but immediately on that, I just disqualify. I mean, that's too much.
When it comes to the felony, we would have to seek corporate approval for that sort of charge in order to proceed forward with a candidate. And they would ultimately be the ones to make the decision as to whether or not we would feel comfortable presenting someone like that to our clients.
It's gonna be tough. Realistically, he's gonna be hired from someone who knows him, who watches his content, who's a fan of him, and really wants to believe in him and giving him a chance. That, to me, seems like the ideal employer.
I know you think I need to get a real job, but I just want to let you know I'm not going to. When I have 4 million subscribers on YouTube, what I'm going to do instead is go back to making content, go back to telling stories and entertaining people, and making money doing it.
Man. Some of it, I think a job would really help him. Honestly, I think a job would really put him in the right headspace, get some consistent cash coming in, at least get rid of the fear that he's going to lose his house. You know, isn't a job better than selling off childhood possessions of just emptying out your house? It seems like a job would be an improvement from that. You know, just take the pressure off. Have some consistent income coming in for a bit. Relax. You know, get home, zone out, do magic, have some discretionary income, and then get back into it from a different perspective, different mindset.
So this is Desi. You can call her Desiree.
Yep, Desiree.
We've been dating now for months.
A couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
No way. 20 years old. All right, am I gonna be, how old is Boogie? Boogie age, I'm just curious. I didn't see that one coming, okay? And again, they are 2 consenting adults. Don't get the wrong idea here. Everything is perfectly fine. If they're both happy, who am I to judge someone else's relationship from the 10 seconds that I've seen online? That would be ridiculous. But, you know, let's see. Let's see what's going on here.
I can see myself getting married to Boogie.
I could definitely see us getting married. In fact, we may or may not have talked about it a little bit, and we may or may not sit around fantasizing about it and thinking about what it's going to look like.
You know what? Maybe she's the catalyst to turn his life around. I really hope so. It's not a good thing to place, you know, your motivation necessarily from another person, but this could at least get him on the right track, you know? A new energy in here, he'll get a little self-confidence that he could do it. Maybe that's enough to spark something. Again, I hate having that reliance on another person for your own inner self-esteem. But if this gets him on the path, I'm all for it.
Boogie has improved my life tremendously. He just makes me happy, the happiest I've ever been. I help with the dogs. I get him his water. You know, like whatever he wants and requests.
You know what? It seems like a hard worker. Like she's not just loafing around. It seems like, you know, she truly cares about him. She likes him. He seems infatuated with her. If they're happy, I'm happy.
I would say that it's the best I ever had. What? You were...
Oh yeah, there's a lot there that we're not going to show that, but my gosh, the fact that they agreed on camera to, again, 2 consenting adults, who am I to say?
You can go back to live streaming full time again and do like 6-hour live streams like every other streamer and like grind it out. But I mean, there is a very real possibility that one day I won't be able to do that anymore, and we're going to have to live off of whatever we can. Are you prepared for that?
As long as I have you, that's all I need.
I feel like it's easy to say that at month like 6 of their relationship, but when it comes down to year 5 and you're just like, there's no money, nothing's getting better, because I worry they're in a bit of the honeymoon phase, and eventually if that wears off, what is he gonna do? What is she gonna do? How does that change the dynamic of it? I don't want to throw out bad vibes early on, but you know, it's something to consider.
My risk for stroke or heart attack is astronomical. I am essentially a walking time bomb. And I'm so fucking sorry for that.
Maybe she's the motivation that he could get back in shape, lose some weight, you know, eat healthier. There's so many things, and she could cook him the food, and he could work on his live stream. There's so many things that they could do together, I feel, like really turn things around.
And now, making his way to the ring,
People are going to see me win this thing. This is where I turn it all around. Right here.
This is fantastic. The fact that he agreed to do this, put himself on the line like this, amazing. That's not easy to do. To get out in the ring like that, and 400,000 people purchase a ticket to watch you fight. I remember this fight. I was looking forward to it. I mean, it was because it was like you didn't know what was going to happen. And that mystery really just was, I think, appealing to a lot of people. They don't know what's going to happen, and they purchase it. They want to support them both. So, you know, win or lose, the fact that he did this, he got in shape a little bit for it, oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
Since you guys were here last, I did have a bit of a windfall, which bought me some time here in this house. The problem with that is I spent more than $10,000 getting that fight together.
He should have negotiated that better. I mean, there's no way that he should have accepted 10 grand when his out-of-pocket expenses are going to be 10 grand. He should have been charging $30,000. How much money did he make the fight? How much money did he bring in? To my understanding, he was one of the main reasons a lot of people ordered that fight. So to only get paid $10,000 and not get reimbursed for expenses, I think he should have negotiated that one better. He probably just got offered $10K, took it without even thinking because it's $10K, and then realized, oh crap, there's a lot of expenses that go along with that.
There's a lot of research that came out of Europe, and now we're doing it here in the United States, where psychedelics can help reset certain brains. To be honest, I'm scared shitless. It's one of the only things I haven't tried yet. So let's give it a shot.
Now, my understanding is there is a lot of science behind some of this with psychedelics, you know, improving mood. I just think it needs to be probably researched a little bit more and really done in a professional setting. Because I bet it could go really wrong really fast if it's not done right.
So we're about 15 minutes in, and I started to feel things are kind of wavy and kind of disconnected. It's kind of like my brain works on multiple channels, and like I have to pick and choose what I'm concentrating on.
Some of this could be a placebo effect too, where it's like if he really believes it's going to work, it's going to work. And maybe that's all it takes is just him believing I'm cured, and that's it. And he's good.
I'm still not sure I'm like really here yet.
Oh, he's got to cut that out. The first thing he drinks when he wakes up in the Mountain Dew. Again, I think he's got to completely redo his diet. He's got the reach, I feel like, at this point, and the audience where people could reach out and help him. You know, get a dietitian, just who wants to help, and if it works, you know, they get great exposure. But yeah, waking up and just having a Mountain Dew, I can't imagine that's good for you.
You start off as a nobody, and for a short period of time you're a somebody, and then that star burns out like every star does. I was lucky enough to get hit by lightning. I was lucky enough to get to live my dream. I was lucky enough to get to enjoy all of that, play this game the way I wanted to play it. I'll be gone one day too. But for one brief moment, we got an opportunity to shine really bright.
That is beautiful. I really hope there's a positive ending to this. When I go on his channel right now, I do see a bump in views since this documentary came out. I think people are going to be happy for him if they see a genuine want for change and a genuine, happiness in him. I think they're going to support him. So that's what I want to say on this. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. As always, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe. I'll link to the documentary down below. You could also get, by the way, some free stocks that are worth all the way up to a few $1,000s when you make any deposit using a paid affiliate link down below in the description. Let me know which free stocks you get. So enjoy, thank you so much, and until next time.